France's new commander in the Pacific toured Hawaii as relations between China and Europe soured. The French military will come to Oahu for training as the United States and France change their strategy in the Pacific amid tensions with China. U.S. Pacific Air Forces spokeswoman First Lieutenant Amber Kelly-Herrard said, French pilots will arrive on June 29 for several days of training. French forces will be flying a variety of warplanes, including Rafales fighter jets, A400M Atlas transport planes and A330 refueling planes, according to a tweet from France Pacific Command. This year's the 2021 iteration of Congress's annual defense spending bill called for the creation of a new multinational Movement Coordination Center Pacific that would coordinate the movement of friendly nations' military aircraft and vessels across the region. Heightened tensions with China have increased the training and operations tempo for many military aviation units across the Pacific. The U.S. Air Force recently began spreading its planes around the region, to make them harder targets for Chinese missiles. The Chinese military has increasingly asserted control over the South China Sea in the Western Pacific, leading to increasing confrontations with Vietnam, the Philippines and other countries that also border the sea. At the same time, U.S. warships and planes frequently move through in what the Pentagon calls freedom of navigation operations. With one-third of all global trade traveling through the South China Sea, rising hostilities have attracted global concern. France's interests in the Pacific run deep. The frigate's visit at this time is meant to deliver a message in support of freedom of navigation in the air and at sea, which is shared by both Vietnam and France. French ambassador to Vietnam Nicolas Warnery told Vietnamese newspaper VN Express International. French forces joined the American and Japanese militaries in a joint exercise in Japan. It was the first time French troops trained in Japan. Japanese Defense Minister Nobuo Kishi told reporters that France is a like-minded country that shares with Japan the vision of a free and open Indo-Pacific. French military officials didn't respond to requests for comment about training in Hawaii, but posts on France Pacific Command's official Twitter account show that Ray met with officials at Camp Smith, Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam and the Daniel K. Inouye Asia Pacific Center for Security Studies in Waikiki during his visit.